This episode of the MOC Squad was filmed in front of a live, members-only audience. Greetings, imagination connoisseurs, and greetings to the Viceroy of Verisimilitude himself.
Woo! That's me. I'm the Viceroy.
Robert Meyer Burnett. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Rob, how are you?
I'm good. I don't get much from being a Viceroy. I'm not like Harry and Meghan. I'm kind of looking for where does my royal reign? Where's the royal reign? Make it rain.
Where's the plaque, right?
Well, yeah, where's my plaque? I need that button. I just need another 66,000 subscribers. Like, subscribe, or no, 46,000.
46,000. We need another 40.
Let's get there, man.
It's getting there. We'll get there. We'll get there.
Slowly, yeah, but it's been 6 years.
Yeah.
I'm like the tortoise of YouTubers.
Yeah.
Trying to get to that finish line to get my first button.
The tortoise won the race, though, remember.
But I found other people's buttons when I was young, so it all evens out.
Rob.
Oh, wait, what? What did I say? I was pushing people.
We want to grow the subscriber base, not lose subscribers, Rob. Come on.
I've been pushing people's buttons.
That's right.
Why? What'd you think I meant?
We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
Hey, Rob, before we get started, we have a new member, and he actually shared a question here that I thought would be a good way to start off the show. So maybe we could start off with that. The name of our new
What is our new member's name?
His name is My Kid Banana. My Kid Banana. And so
Kid Banana.
Yeah. They posted the following. So it says, I'm going to kind of share the information here. It says, "Hello, Rob. I'm going to cut to the point. I have severe dyslexia. I don't know how familiar you are with that, but it's on a spectrum. And it's like a snowflake. No two are alike. Mine is pretty bad." So he continues. "I've always considered myself to have a very creative brain, which most dyslexic people do. But I find it really hard to put everything together and form paragraphs, let alone novels." Okay. "With the emergence of AI, ChatGPT, I've seen that this could be a tool to help me develop my thoughts and better put my words to paper, not just with grammar. And also, do you think I would get a lot of criticism and backlash from people? I am not talking about having AI write my entire novel just to help me form structured paragraphs. Honestly, I would take what AI gave me, and I would rewrite it to be more like what I think it should be." So what would you any advice for My Kid Banana with those thoughts and ideas of using AI more as a kind of a tool to help shape his work?
I read something yesterday that really struck me. On one hand, I would say that using AI to surmount kind of challenge, physical, mental challenge, is what AI should be used for.
Yeah.
I really think that is an immediate benefit. But that said, I read something yesterday that the entire point, and this was actually in regards to writing term papers. Somebody on X on Twitter had said, "How did anybody write term papers before they had ChatGPT?" And that person who tweeted that got roasted, just roasted in the comments. Wow. And so I was reading the comment, and as well they should have.
Yeah, sure.
Because people were saying like, "Oh, I don't know, what did people do before they had ChatGPT? Oh, I don't know, put their thoughts on paper,
research."
And yeah, the whole point of any kind of here's what I would say in the case of My Kid Banana.
Yeah.
In the case of My Kid Banana, there's a reason why he can use, or they can use, or she can use ChatGPT, which I understand. And I'm totally down, because I would rather have that person's, like, he might, or they might, or she might have a great story that I've never heard about. What does it mean to be trying to get through the world with this kind of dyslexia? Like, I've never heard that dyslexia is like a snowflake before. And what this person that I wrote or was reading yesterday said, that the entire point of whether you're taking an exam or whether you're writing a novel or whatever, is to share the writer's experience and knowledge of the world. So the whole point of taking and writing a term paper is not to scrub the internet and regurgitate a bunch of other people's thoughts. It's to express your own.
Right.
And the idea that, like, I can tell just interacting on YouTube that the critical thinking skills of a lot of people have dropped precipitously. People are not thinking the way they used to think. They don't know what they think. And they don't know what they think because we've flipped our educational system. So now everyone's teaching for the test. I need to get this number so I can get to this place, or I have to fill out these. If I want to go to an Ivy League school, I have to do all these things to get in. Education should not be something that you're not winning a game. A good education is helping you and your experience of life be enhanced by an appreciation of the wondrous world around you. And if you don't have ideas in your head that are your own, those ideas constantly push an individual to explore, to question, to live. I mean, you know, if you're standing in front of a painting at a museum and you know nothing about the artist, you know nothing about the period, you know nothing about the painting, you're just staring at this painting. While it might work for you as a thing of beauty, if you had a working knowledge, even the most rudimentary knowledge of what you were looking at, even the pigments used, or when it was painted, you know, what was going on around that time in that part of the world, or if you knew anything about that, the experience of standing in front of that painting would be accentuated. And that's true of any place you're standing on any part of the world, any people you meet, any places you travel to. The more you know about it, not the Chat GPT filled in a term paper for you, the better off you are. Yeah. And we've now turned the education of our entire youth into something that's been commodified. It has a budget now. Yeah. You know, we have this much money to spend on people's education. People's education should be considered the single most valuable thing that we have for people, for our population. A healthy, well-educated population is the strongest defense against anything. Yeah. And I dare say it, but the rush to AI seems a little suspicious. You know, because just like social media, how long until I heard a great term yesterday that I'd never heard yesterday. I was doing a lot of reading. I do a lot of reading. Data poisoning. And there's the new Google AI that was unable to generate anything but people of color. Well, in 20 years, people might not know the difference. Yeah. So suddenly, and that's just one small facet. When ChatGPT is being used for everything, there's going to be all kinds of data poisoning. And people in 20 years won't know what the truth is. And if you were a despot or some kind of a dictator, or you were big tech and wanted to program a population en masse, or you were a bad actor from a foreign country, you know, if you were and somebody wanted to be like Jim Kirk and kill the Gorn and figure out how to make gunpowder, and you went to the internet, how do you make gunpowder? Well, what if somebody added an ingredient that would make it blow up in your face and you wouldn't know? I mean, and it seems silly, but we're going to have this problem for the next, until the Butlerian Jihad comes, and no longer, like in Dune, can you make machines that think like a human mind, and that's the end of that. Then you're going to have to become a mentat. Then you're not going to use GPT to
truly exploit the capabilities of our brain power, right?
Yeah. And I think that, but to go back to
go back to My Kid Banana's point. In the case of My Kid Banana, I think you absolutely should use it. I think the danger becomes, when does Chat GPT start to think for you? Sure. And that's what you don't want. You have an interesting experience of the world that you were able to convey to us in a letter that you wrote. Maybe you used Chat GPT to write it. And I would say just the thought of dyslexia being like a snowflake, that it's different for everybody, is something that I didn't know before. Maybe you got that. See, that's the thing. Maybe that came from Chat GPT. I'm not saying it did. No. But it would be unfortunate, because I would rather believe that My Kid Banana was able to convey that interesting thought to me that I'd never
I will never not think about that term if someone tells me they have dyslexia.
Yeah.
Now there's something that, and the problem is, good nuggets are going to come from Chat GPT, and people are going to constantly use it. I use Chat GPT, but I'm always like using it to like, I'll write something, stick it in Chat GPT, and go like, rewrite in the style of David Sedaris.
Yeah. Or review it or whatever. Yeah, I mean, that's like you said, as a tool, it's one thing. As a substitute, it's a completely different thing, right?
And unfortunately, reading somebody saying, how did I write a term paper without GPT? The problem is, if you're using Chat GPT to write a term paper, you failed.
Yeah,
you get an F.
Yeah.
And it comes up to you to and people aren't. The problem is, people are just going to turn in papers, and until the actual thought process is that I can't use Chat GPT, because it's the whole point of writing a term paper is to show what I understand, not what an AI tool that's scrubbing the internet understands.
I mean, the process of writing a paper, especially if you're doing a research paper, you might learn something that you didn't know before that then becomes part of your knowledge base, right?
Yeah, that's what studying is for.
That's what studying is all about. Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, I hope that answered your question, my kid Banana.
Good letter, though. I want to thanks for writing it. Thanks for becoming a member of the channel.
Thanks for becoming a member. Toy Matzer also became a member, so we want to thank Toy Master with a Z. Toy Master, welcome.
Toy Master.
Thank you for becoming a member as well. Our good friend and happily knowing she's recovering, Irene Jobson, has been a member for 16 months. And we would be remiss if we didn't have Irene, of course, tell you happy birthday, RMB. Which has become kind of a thing on the channel recently. Rob's birthday is not till May, but we appreciate.
Fun. You know what's going to really be sad? On my actual birthday, when people don't wish me happy birthday.
Exactly. Yeah. Don't forget, it's in May, folks. And then before we get started here with our members, Alexander Wilson gave a $5 tip. Thank you so much, Alexander, or a $5 chat. And they say, Rob, have you finally watched the Korean show Moving yet?
Okay.
I'm going to keep asking until you do, because
here's the thing.
The show.
I did not know what this show was. And I was sitting with Elizabeth, and I'm like, we got to find out this show Moving. And like, it didn't come up. And I literally thought it was going to be some domestic drama like Parasite. Bruh. It is a bonkers superhero show. Mutants, superheroes, Asian awesomeness. It's awesome. It's awesome. I haven't finished it yet. It's awesome. And it was so funny because when I turned it on, I'm like, what? It was so not, it's one of those things where you kind of just go in cold. Like, all I knew was it's called Moving.
Yeah.
And in my own mind, what is the first thing you think of when you hear the word moving?
I thought about it like immigration, like they were leaving Korea to move to the United States or something like that.
Me too, especially because I watched Past Lives recently, and that's what I was thinking. No, they're moving all right. They're moving.
That's fun. Where is it playing? Is it on a streaming service?
It's on Netflix.
Okay.
Netflix, or is it Netflix?
I'm sure if we do a search,
I don't remember.
Find where it is. But anyway,
I think it's Netflix.
That's good to know that it's that you've started watching it. And Alexander, you can stop asking because
it's really cool. It's also beautifully made.
Oh, cool. All right. Well, we'll have
to check it out. What? It has a certain. You know what I really like about it? When you watch like the CW shows. The CW shows are really brightly lit, and you were always aware that you're kind of watching a TV show. Moving is not like that.
Okay.
Moving has more of a,
a little more verite, a little more kind of verite approach.
Yes, it's more gritty, more, you're not on, hey, we're on a city street kind of thing. And the action's bananas and fun.
Very cool.
It's good.
All right.
And the characters are great. And I want action figures from the show.
Of course.
I mean, they're not in costumes or anything like that, but some are wearing, you'll see. But I highly recommend it. Alexander Wilson is correct. What I was surprised is that he's the only one that's talking about this show.
Well, that's one of the issues with the amount of content out there. I mean, for like the new Avatar series came out. I'm barely seeing much. I've seen very little about it. I didn't even realize they had started yet.
Yeah, I don't think people are digging it.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just it's so easy for things to get buried so quickly.
Yeah.
By the way, I got to see an indie horror movie last night called Stop Motion. I don't know if you've seen the trailers for it. It was interesting. It was definitely, indie horror, right? So it's not a jump scare type of thing, and it has something to say about artists and kind of the struggle of creating.
Oh, I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen this trailer. Okay, yeah.
Artist. I think the ideas behind it were better than the actual execution. I think there's a good ideas there. But yeah, we can, it just felt like there were parts of the story that needed to be fleshed out a little bit more, and they just, maybe in the interest of time and due to budget restrictions, have to kind of tighten up the story a little too much. So, but it was interesting. It's going to be on Shudder, I think. So,
nice.
It's one of those movies that you can check out in the Shudder service. I went to the theater with Felix to go check it out last night. So. All right. Well, let's stop gabbing here and let our friends in the room, shall we? We've got plenty of people waiting for us to join in the chat. So let's go ahead and do our ritual here where we bring everybody in. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. And remember, as you come into the chat, you can go ahead and use the gestures feature in Zoom to raise your hand. That'll put you on the queue, and we will then have you share your comments and questions in the order that those were received. And Rob will be here to hang out with you for about 7 minutes or so. So you get 7 minutes with Rob
in heaven. See how far we can go.
Let me go ahead and, speaking of which, let me go ahead and
I'm canceled
and pin Rob here so that we can have you. Where did you go? I'm losing. There you are. Okay, let me go ahead and make Rob front and center. And we've got somebody else admitted in here. In the meantime, Anthony Plowden is the winner this week, the first hand up. So we're going to go ahead and ask him to join us here. Anthony, you should be able to join the call now. Welcome.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. What's up, Rob? How you doing?
What's going on, man?
I'm doing good. How's everything going with you today?
It's going well. It's, I've had a lot of, I couldn't really stream much this week. So now I had lots of work to do, but now I'm back at it.
Great. I was wondering too, last night I woke up like around midnight. Any midnight musings coming up soon, or?
Yeah, I didn't get back in time to do it. If I don't get back at 9, it's Lael, and for RM it's midnight already.
Yeah.
So yeah, I want to get back to it.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just been, I miss those guys. I miss doing that.
Yeah, I miss watching it. And this is kind of what I wanted. I wanted to talk about two things if we got time. But the first one is I kind of wanted to dive into, I know you and John early in the week talked about James Gunn's Batman film, Batman,
Brave the Bold.
Brave and the Bold. Yeah. I was thinking, it was a great video, by the way. I think he's the perfect actor for it. I don't know his name off the top of my head.
Oh, Alan Ritchson. Yeah, Alan Ritchson, Jack Reacher playing Batman.
His physique, I think Gunn Batman is almost like with two Batmen running concurrently, the Batman and this one.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, I definitely want your thoughts and to dive deep into it. I almost think that they have to do a complete 360 of what's going on with the Batman, because not so much confusing the audience, but I almost think that the approach is not to go with such a comedic approach, a lighter. I think they're going to have to go with a lighter approach with this one, as far as the tone, the look of the Batman suit. I think we'll finally get a chance to see the blue and gray suit more prominently on screen.
And Ritchson would look like that Frank Miller Dark Knight, the big torsoed Batman who looks like he can kick somebody's ass. Look, I think what's going to be really interesting is I think that James Gunn knows that you've got the Burton Schumacher era of Batman, and then you've got the Christopher Nolan and the Batman era of Batman. And I think that we're going to get, and I have no reason to believe this, but I do think that James Gunn wants to go for a more classical approach. and we might get more of the Superman from the world of tomorrow, like kind of a cross between the Max Fleischer Superman, the George Reeves Adventures of Superman, and something modern, something that almost feels like a movie set in the 40s or 50s, maybe, even though it's not going to be. It's going to be, I think it's going to be have more of a classical feel too, like the first half an hour of Donner's Superman, because it's our heroes. James Bond had this problem. I think as much as I like Zack Snyder's Man of Steel had this problem. All these characters live in a morose world where everybody's kind of sad all the time. You know, they're not enjoying themselves. Whereas, you know, Superman, like, he sits down and you never see him, that you never saw joy. Like James Bond, when he was Sean Connery and he was going into a casino or something, he was having a good time.
Yeah.
He liked being James Bond. And I mean, he was hanging around with, you know, going after the richest people. You know, he wasn't, and the world has changed. Obviously, the world has changed because now we have asymmetric warfare and we have terrorism. And the problem is the bad people in the world aren't fun anymore. You know, they're either skeezy or they live in places that we don't want to go, or so there's no, whereas we need to elevate. I wouldn't be surprised if this Superman takes place in some kind of a futuristic metropolis that's more a bright and shiny world that we hope we live in one day.
Yeah.
Or something. I mean, I don't know if that's the case at all, but they've got to do something. Yeah. You can't make, and I don't think James Gunn wants to live in a morose world like that.
Right.
You know, he's never.
Yeah, and I don't think he's going to be like Adam West, kind of a goofy Batman.
No, I don't either. Not at all. Not at all.
It's going to have like a light tone, a lighter, like I said, the suit will be lighter, and it'll just have like a more, not positive, that's not the word I'm looking for, but a more of a campier, lack of a better word, kind of a feel to it, you know?
Yeah, I think it's going to be more like, I don't want to say it's going to be a screwball comedy, then people are going to be like, what, some like it hot? Because right. People, especially fans get really prickly, having been one my whole life, when you insinuate that you're going to get something that, like, if you say, I don't want a Superman comedy. But the thing is, the original Superman, Richard Donner's Superman, I mean, it had Ned Beatty as Otis. It's just a little place, Mr. Luthor, just a little place. Otisburg. I mean, there was a lot of borderline screwball comedy in that.
It was.
But at the same time, it was balanced. It's balanced off. I mean, Lex, my mother lives in Hackensack. I mean, you know, I'm not saying you have to go that far where you make fun of nuking a town in New Jersey, but it's going to have to be somewhere between Nolan's Batman and the Batman and comic books, like somewhere in between. If Adam West's Batman is at one extreme and the Batman is at the other extreme in terms of cinematic, it's got to be somewhere in the middle. I think. I can be totally wrong and off base, but even the fact that the cast, if you look at that picture, what's really funny, I find it so interesting now that fandom haven't we learned from Heath Ledger being cast as the Joker that just wait and see? Mm-hmm. Hell, you know, they had to cast somebody of color as Reed Richards. It's like, look, they're bumping on the fact his name is Pedro.
Right.
You know, the fact that it's so, if you go back, I posted a picture of his mom and dad. His dad was like his mom was like in Denmark, and his dad, I mean, people don't understand that South and Central America have all kinds of people in it. You know, and of all different in terms of ethnic backgrounds. Not everyone, you know, is indigenous, and it's such a weird. We live in such a weird world. Yeah, and I understand, but I mean, I don't know.
I think it's going to work. Like, I only have 14 seconds, but like, even though
we'll stick it on. You had one more question.
Yeah, even though you mentioned the picture of like the Superman cast, I didn't know that guy was that tall. Like, he actually looks like he's Superman, you know?
Yeah, and when he packs on some weight, you know, puts on a
Yeah, and my final question, then I'll get out of here, Rob. I think it's absolutely insane that Warner Brothers has spent $200 million on the Joker, 2. I think they're setting themselves up for failure. Prematurely, I think the film is not going to live up to expectations. And that's the final thing I wanted to say. I think it's a travesty already.
Well, there's two things that with the entertainment business where it is, to hear that Gladiator 2 it cost over $300 million. I'm like, what clown world are we living in? And the Joker's budget, a movie that cost $65 million that made $1 billion, that's where you want to live. You know, and I understand people want to get paid, but you bump it up, maybe give them 100, but 200, what are you spending $200 million on? I mean, are you going to have an elaborate Busby Berkeley dance number? Is it going to look like Broadway Melody of 1932 or whatever? I mean, I don't get it. I just don't understand. And it's not good for the business. All of these, why would the Joker cost that much money? What is he going to fight a giant robot and then have a musical number with Lady Gaga? I'm like, $200 million bucks? God, I don't know. Just me.
Hey, thanks, Anthony. By the way, Rob, I think Rickson would make a good Batman, but I think he would make a lousy Bruce Wayne. It would be way too obvious, a man of that size, that people would be like, there's no way this guy isn't Batman. I mean, look at him. I mean, it's just crazy. That's why I keep thinking that the best role for him would be Midnighter in the DC universe. I think that would give him a Batman-like character, but not quite, you know, the main focus of Batman, right? To have it be someone like Midnighter would work better for me. So,
yeah, I know. It's just that I go back to that Frank Miller. He's got that Frank Miller physique.
He does have
the Frank Miller Dark Knight physique.
Yeah. But he doesn't have the age. He has I think that part of what made the Frank Miller Batman believable is that you wouldn't believe an old man like Bruce Wayne would be out there fighting crime, right? Whereas Rickson is still a relatively young guy. So, yeah. All right. Joey Hamilton is coming up next. Let's go ahead and have him join us. Welcome, Joey.
Hello.
What's up, man? How you doing?
Good. Pretty good. I've been working a lot, and I didn't sleep great last night, so I'm a little off. But happy to talk for a little bit. The Gladiator thing's weird. I just don't get. It seems like there's no chance it could make money. It's like it's dead on arrival. If you look at that, because what does it need to make? Like 1.2 billion to break even?
Yeah, I mean, I really honestly don't understand, especially with Paramount hemorrhaging cash, you know, and their stock price and everything. I just, to me, what I don't understand is, you know, movies, you have a script and they're meticulously budgeted. Now, I understand they had the strikes. They had a lot of things that they had to deal with. And apparently they had to pay people during the strikes and all that. But you know, I mean, I think that this kind of thing is not good for the entire industry. Right. And you have two movies that collectively represent $500 million. Two films. Even as much as I love movies, that doesn't work. There's no way a business can sustain that. And, you know, I don't know what people have on their books, but I feel that, you know, making a movie like Joker for 65 million and having it make $1 billion, that's the business that's the working Hollywood where it feeds all of the rest of the ecosystem. You know, a movie like Joker that obviously is a zeitgeist film. You've got
I remember, and that got so much praise for being a movie that didn't have to be a $250 million special effects extravaganza that made $1 billion. And then the lesson they learn is to up the budget, you know, like 3 or 4 times. Just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. Everybody wants to get paid, and I'm sure Lady Gaga wasn't cheap and all that, and maybe they do have these extravagant musical numbers. But even so, 200 million, and the pressure on the film itself, the pressure on the filmmakers, because look, you know, I'm sure Aquaman with all the reshoots and the whole Amber Heard situation, whatever they were trying to do, you know, then that goes way over budget because they have to keep changing things because they're second guessing the public, going, oh, people don't like Amber Heard anymore, we have to take her out. I mean, it's like, I don't understand when you're looking at a movie, and I keep pointing to it, and I know the Japanese have a much different, people get paid a lot less and the whole structure of it. But if you watch, I published a video. I don't know if you saw it. It was on YouTube. I was sharing it around. A lot of people were sharing it, of the effects team. It was a 6-minute video about the effects of Godzilla -1.
I saw the thumbnail of that. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet.
You watch it and like the movie is nothing else but a joyful example of how movies are made the way everybody believes movies are supposed to be made. And even though they're using amazing effects technology, you have 35 people out there like rocking. They built one set for each ship, and most of the ship is green screen so they could comp in what they needed to comp in. But you have these guys like rocking this ship, you know, when Godzilla comes, and like that's
the director was a special effects guy, right? So
and
he was able to kind of shepherd that, probably.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing.
Right.
You know, these guys, he came up out of low budget cinema. He made a movie called Returner in the aughts. He directed the space battleship Yamato live action film. I mean, and I think another problem with the motion picture industry is directors don't know how to direct. They don't know. They make an indie movie and they get kicked upstairs, and they feel that, you know, if somebody was saying, I was on a live stream and people were talking about, well, you know, the studios have to be able to control people. I'm like, who's controlling who at the studios in control? They don't know how to make movies, you know, and everybody's second guessing everybody else now. And the corporate structure has made it impossible. And the people that are getting hired to do these films do not know I don't mean that every director is like that, but the fact that you have 1,000 people on various effects teams all over the world that are so integral now to making these movies happen. I'm like, you know, I don't want to see Chat GPT or Sona. I want to say Soma out of
Sora, I think it's called.
Sora, Sora, whatever it is. I mean, when we've got that, I mean, I'm not really interested in watching movies that are entirely AI generated. And what's going to happen is you're going to have people just sitting around going, I want to see myself as the hero of Star Wars. I'm Luke Skywalker. Regenerate Star Wars with me as Luke Skywalker. And that's going to happen. And
yeah, I wonder how long that will. I've said this now because I know, like, now it's not truly convincing, but I wonder if it were truly convincing, photorealistic, if that would still last, or would it be a kind of thing that wears off after a couple of years of people just kind of getting bored with it?
I think it will, because at the end of the day, what's going to happen is you're going to have Chat GPT generating all the stories, or you're having AI, and the stories are going to be generic. They're eventually, because they have to be, because you're drawing on everything that exists. So you're literally going to play an algorithm. The problem with an algorithm, a predictive algorithm, is that it can't give you anything original because it hasn't happened yet.
Mm-hmm.
So it can only be.
The one interesting thing about it that I noticed is it doesn't second guess itself. So if you come up with kind of a strange idea, you know, whereas like a human being, if they have a weird idea and they're writing it over a period of time, they might think like, this is a little too out there. Maybe I shouldn't do this. But this algorithm thing is just going to kind of do it, you know? So I do think it can help bypass that process of like writer's block, or just, you know, second guessing what we want to do. But yeah, we'll see. It's frightening just of what could happen. And I don't think people are quite ready for it. Like, people think about it and they joke about how bad it could get, but I think that could happen sooner rather than later, just based on the misinformation that already spreads. You imagine videos of like, for just one quick thing before I go here, there was a quote of the Lions coach Dan Campbell, who reacting to Travis Kelce pushing Andy Reid. And it was just a made up thing. Somebody said that, like, if he did that to me, I would knock him down, or it was something like that. I don't remember, but it was spread all over Facebook. I was seeing it with like 40,000 likes and so forth. And people think like, oh, well, it's just football. Like, it's just a joke. It's fine. But the scary thing is, like, that happens in every aspect of life. A fake quote or something is spread.
Oh no, we're going to live through it. Nothing is going to be real, and someone one day is going to get so pissed off they're going to be unhinged, grab a gun, and blow somebody away.
Well, imagine if what I just said, like, if that was a photorealistic video of him saying it in the locker room, or it was, you know, you have like Joe Biden saying something or whatever, and people have to do so much work if you see something on Twitter, like a quote, or like someone says X director said this, or so political figure said Y, you have to like actually dig in and do the work to figure out if it's real or not. And it takes time, and people don't want to do that. But it's going to be even harder if you see a video or audio of something, and you have to be like, let me find the source of this before you just share it around everybody.
It's going to get brutal. I mean, it's going to get to the point where everybody is at risk. Every single person. I mean, you know, let's say you wanted to just fuck with someone's marriage for whatever reason. You're mad at somebody. You generate horrible things like child something, you know, and send somebody a video. How do you know? And once that video gets sent somewhere, let's say somebody sends something to law enforcement, and one day you've got child protective services showing up at your house. How are people going to stop and prevent that? Because what if it's real? You know, and that's going to be the whole thing, is that people won't be able to take the risk anymore. And until we start the idea of you don't yell fire in a crowded theater, we're going to have a real problem. And the thing is, bad actors already, you know, you've got a whole generation of people that don't have any respect for each other. Swatting. Look at what the AI equivalent of swatting could be. And you could just fuck with somebody. Imagine the bullying that's going to go on. The kind of videos, classmates, vicious. I can't even imagine the world that we're going to have to figure out how to navigate. And, you know, it's the old Jeff Goldblum thing. It's the Ian Malcolm thing. Just because you can do a thing doesn't mean you should do a thing. It's too late. You know, let's go, Christina Aguilera, and put that genie in the bottle. Not anymore. We're done. We're cooked. We better figure out what's coming down, the tsunami that's about to hit us, because it's coming.
All right. Well, we got Darth Plato coming now, so we're going to go ahead and welcome him. Welcome, Darth Plato. Share your thoughts here on the member chat. Welcome, Darth.
What's up, dude?
Good to talk to you, man. Let me fix my view here. What happened to my view? You're oh well. God damn it. Oh, that's better. So Reed Richards is being played by Pedro
Pascal.
Okay. I like Pedro Pascal as the Mandalorian, and I liked him in Narco. So he's a good Mandalorian. He's a good Narcolorian. But I'm not sure I'm feeling the Reed Richards thing.
I look, I think that Marvel knows something. Like, these people probably had a chemistry cast where they all got together and had to read. You know, I'm sure this was something that was thought through, and obviously Marvel, if I give them the benefit of the doubt, for the most part, they've always cast people in those roles that are pretty iconic. They turn out to be. So, I mean, no, I would just say I would wait and see. I would wait and see.
I know there's a lot of hate for Pedro Pascal. That's not where I'm coming from. Just to be clear about that.
Sure. No, I know. But, you know, it's funny because I keep hearing people say, well, he doesn't look like Reed Richards.
Yeah, I'm like, that's not quite what I'm getting at there.
Okay.
I mean, if you're looking for the look of the character, I would probably vote for something like Anson Mount, but I'm not so sure.
I think Anson Mount looks exactly like Reed Richards. If they cast, he might be a little too old now. But yeah, I think Anson Mount or Bruce. It's funny, Captain Pike, John Byrne originally said that he saw Jeffrey Hunter, who played Captain Pike in The Cage, as his perfect version of Reed Richards. So I guess in pop culture, every actor who's played Pike, whether it was Bruce, Jeffrey Hunter, and now Anson Mount, Captain Pike is Reed Richards.
Interesting.
You know, totally. I mean, even the way the character is, like Anson Mount, the way he plays Pike in Strange New Worlds is totally Reed Richards, but maybe with a little, make it more professorial.
Have you seen the Borderlands trailer?
You mean the Guardians of the Galaxy knockoff? I did. I mean, to me, you know what it looked like? It looked like the Battle Beyond Battle Beyond the Stars came out in the wake of Star Wars. I mean, there was nothing in it that I didn't like, really, but when I was watching it, I'm like, this just looks like a lower class version of Guardians of the Galaxy. And I know that Eli Roth left the project. They had to have another director come in and finish. But I'll watch it. It looked fun to me. I'm like, I'll watch this.
As someone that played the game, I have 2 comments about this.
Okay.
One, I love Kate Blanchett, but she's way too old for this role.
Right.
Like the guy who played Napoleon, way too old for the role. And the other part is Kevin Hart as Roland. Okay, for those of you who haven't played the game Borderlands, Roland is a big dude. He's funny. He's not like
right.
He's not stand-up comic funny. He's just kind of subtly funny. Having Kevin Hart playing Roland is like having Danny DeVito play Drax.
Wow, I didn't know that.
That's bad.
See, I mean, it's funny. I know they probably wanted a name like Kevin Hart. You know what's funny? Now that you tell me that, I can't unsee that.
Kate Blanchett is taller than he is.
Oh, I know, way taller.
Roland is towering over everybody in the game.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Oh boy. Well, first of all, before I forget, let me say happy birthday, Robs. And
thank you.
So I got a serious question then. Since you're having so many birthdays, what exactly is your age now?
Oh, I don't know. Well, don't the Japanese take the time, count the time you're in the womb as part of your birthday?
I don't know.
I guess I'm at retirement age then.
Okay.
I must be close to 65 at this point.
Well, here's your thing. You've just graduated to Papa Smurf status of the internet, of YouTube. We'll just start calling you Big Papa R&B.
Yeah, that's you know what? I'll put that nickname at the front of Robservations. I just need the artwork, Big Papa R&B. I'm happy to take that nickname. Although John Campea calls Bob Iger Big Papa Iger, so it seemed like, that
doesn't work. I don't see that for Bob Iger.
Yeah. Yeah. But how many, but that thing, I love that people are keeping that joke going.
Well, tell you what, for those who don't know, it is a funny running gag on an R&B show. That's true, but there's an even funnier one that people kind of forgotten about. And that was when you started the show where you said remembering William Shatner, and everybody was coming into the chat saying R.I.P. William Shatner. And wait, William Shatner's not dead? The way you worded it, you made it sound like he passed away. It was just the funniest thing ever. Everybody coming into the chat is saying William Shatner.
I know. God bless that man. He's going to conventions every weekend. Amazing.
He's an icon.
Amazing.
For sure. I love him.
He is an icon. He's going to be, his birthday's next month. I think is he 93?
Oh, so you share a birthday with him?
I do not.
Well, come on, you walked into that one.
I did.
So what do I got? I got 25 seconds. All right, so I guess that's just enough time for me to do the entire history of the 20th century.
Please do. Yuval Harari will have nothing on you. Do it all. Come on, go.
Things went boom.
A lot of things went boom.
All right. That's
big
all
booms, little booms, many booms, including the stock market.
Same back.
Thanks, Darth. Good to see you. We got a couple of, let's see, we have a new member. Terry Pennington Jr. Member for 36 months. Sorry. So he says, wishing everybody in the PGS a good day. And we also have
that is amazing.
Major Chai Chai became a YouTube member. So welcome, Major Chai Chai. So that's a couple of new one new person and one person celebrating 3 years a member of the PGS, which is great. All right, our man down under with DVDs and Blu-rays and
Kelvin
4Ks
Wellborn
to spare, Mr. Kelvin Wellborn is joining us. Welcome, Kelvin.
Okay. Hello. Thanks, Bernard. Thank you. Oh, how's it going?
It is going well. How's it going with you?
Going all right. It's very. We've had a lot of weather changes here. It's been hot and fires, tropical storms. Oh my God, my head's about to explode with the amount of activity that goes on.
I was thinking about you because I just watched a TV show with Elizabeth. Have you seen The Tourist with Jamie Dornan?
Yeah, I've not seen it, but I've heard
It's kind of a
yeah.
Coen Brothers-esque crime thriller. I liked it. I didn't know what to make of it.
Do with that movie with Johnny Depp, The Tourist, or is it?
Yeah, it's not that. It's not that movie. This is an what would you call like we have Southern fried crime movies like Smokey and the Bandit. I don't know what you'd call. This is kind of an outback crime thriller kind of a thing. I don't know if I totally believed in it, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. There's some strange things get made. You think oops. You don't know what the hell. Anyway, almost forgotten. Yeah, I've had a few revivals, but one thing I was very in a sense disappointed to see is that this is the Radiance release of the horrible Dr. Hitchcock from last year.
Yeah.
Because Vinegar Syndrome is releasing their 4K.
I have it.
You have it?
Yeah. Yeah, bro. It's right here. And it is beautiful.
Yeah, I just ordered mine a couple of days ago.
I love this. It comes with a booklet, all this cool vinegar, all the artwork. I haven't cracked it, but there it is. The Horrible Dr. Hitchcock. It's funny. I was watching a video. There's somebody who does I hadn't seen his videos before. By the way, I love this. I love Vinegar Syndrome's packaging. This actually is a really good movie. But I
know it's fantastic.
I love Radiance. I think they're great. They're a great label. But now you have these boutique labels putting out various releases around the world.
Yeah.
And who do you want to support? And to me, like, it's really hard now. Like, I love Radiance, but Radiance is putting out this great box set of Mario Bava's Planet of the Vampires. I love Planet of the Vampires, but I have the German Planet of the Vampires in 4K.
So do I. It's just over there.
Yeah, and and Radiance is putting out a Blu-ray of it, and they've got great special features on it. But I'm like, I really do not want to buy. And I understand now we're going to get a bottleneck because companies are getting they license things out region by region. So
like Narc is getting a 4K release, and
I saw that. I love Narc. I can't wait to get that.
It's annoying because it's in that After Dark set.
I know, but this Narc is in 4K.
I know. So I'll have to watch the movie again first. So Sisu.
Yeah, Sisu's great.
Forward to watching that. My Dan's Macabre finally arrived.
Oh yeah, I have to. I keep forgetting to order that.
It's got the 4K of Castle of Blood in this as well.
Yeah.
After they had released it previously in Volume 1.
Yeah. Yep.
I also want to ask you about, because I got my Count Dracula 4K. I also want to compliment you and Dita. Well, that's that one.
Yeah, that's nice.
I also want to compliment you and Dita on your Cynthia Rothrock
That was, how awesome was that?
It was just great. It was fantastic.
I could have just, I should have just got off the show and let Dieter talk to her the whole time, because I wanted to just watch Dieter's expression talking with her.
Enthusiasm. But having you both actually doing sort of like two-hander, jumping in, he's in with more of the fanboy questions, you with the more sort of professional production questions, you know.
Yeah, I thought that was the way to do it. But Dieter, I told Dieter, do your research, buddy. He had some good. He did his research. It was very fun. You know, it's so funny to me because I just think about the fact that I didn't know Dieter. I contact, he watched the show, and I contacted him because I wanted that rollerball disc, the 4K rollerball disc. And then after talking to him for this first time, I was like, hey man, we should do a YouTube show. And I never think about the fact that we can one day wind up talking about with Cynthia Rothrock, because of course you can. Why wouldn't you? But Dieter never.
This is one of the things I think it's so fantastic about YouTube is that if you'd said to me I'd be watching YouTube on a regular basis 4 years ago, I would have laughed at you.
I know. I mean, it's such a wild, but and I think though what's really interesting is I was watching this video. This YouTuber has been on the platform for 14 years, is talking about quitting, and he's a musician, and he makes the point. The thing about YouTube is, yeah, you can generate, the big YouTubers like Mr. Beast could become a billionaire, but ultimately you don't really leave a mark on the world. So at the end of the day, being on YouTube, like some people know that I'm on YouTube if they're on that ecosystem, but I have people that to this day I'll run into, and when I mention that I'm on YouTube, they're like, wait, you're on YouTube? And when I explain, they don't understand. And if I tell them that I'm closing in on doing, if I tell people that I've never counted, but I've literally done thousands of YouTube shows. If you include, because I was on Collider Heroes and we were doing a daily show for a while, John's show, I've been streaming with Campia.
I just want to point out this arrival too.
Hey, wait, hold that up again. Let me oh, where'd you get that? What now? Who put that out? Oh, is that BFI?
It's the BFI. I waited months for this to arrive. So, wow.
I want to get that.
I'm going to dive into it properly now. But yeah, there's a lot of.
I'm kind of disappointed. I just got this, the Greg Fraser photography book that of his on-set photographs. I thought it was going to be bigger. I was hoping this would be a much bigger book, but that's okay.
I will let you go.
Always good to see you, man.
Yep. Thank you.
Kelvin, always a pleasure.
Good to see you, Kelvin. We've got Pedro Ferreira coming up now. Hello, Pedro.
Hi.
You got a haircut, didn't you?
How's it going?
It's going good. You got a haircut.
Yeah.
Looks good. I like it.
My mum my mum did a haircut for me.
Nice. Yeah. Well done. Looks good.
So, I was just going to say, so the person who was in the stream who was saying about that whole AI thing and their dyslexia, I completely relate to them, because with me having dyslexia, one of the worst things is to really clarify, even talking, I'm not able to quite kind of sort of clarify what I'm talking about onto paper. So I have all these thoughts about what I want to say about something, and then when I write it down, like writing a review is like one of the hardest things. I like writing a review. I mean, I like putting my thoughts on putting my thoughts down as to what I liked and didn't like about something, but writing a review is really difficult for me. So having AI, I think, is good for cleaning up language and making sure that the language is better, and also if it structures my stuff in a more clear and concise way, that's a plus for me. Because, like I say, it's just structuring my ideas onto paper that I have problems with. So it makes writing really, really difficult. But once I do it, I mean, I feel really good about myself, once I have something finished. And I've been using ChatGPT as well to for feedback on all the TV reviews that I do. All the TV reviews that I write, I use ChatGPT to do feedback on. So that's good. So that and Grammarly, I think, is quite useful.
Grammarly. I use Grammarly a lot. I think Grammarly is really good.
Yeah. Although I use Grammarly and also Word spell check, because Word spell check actually finds problems that Grammarly didn't find. So
Right.
I use both.
Yeah.
I use both of them. But yeah, I think it's really a useful tool for people who have learning difficulties like myself to be able to. But it's an incredibly frustrating experience, Rob, to want to say things and not be able to verbally communicate.
I can't even. I can't even imagine.
Pull it down. The thoughts are in my head. It's just trying to verbalize it or put it down on paper. Because you have especially when you're writing reviews, you have all these things going on in your head that you want to write down all at the same time, and there's no there's no structure to it. So it's really frustrating because you have to kind of start at the beginning, but then you're like, it's what is the beginning like? What thought, what criticism, what positive point do you want to put forward, or So what I started doing, actually, I found a way to speed up my review process a little bit by just putting my thoughts down, and then from there structuring a review.
Right.
So I thought that's probably the better way to do it than keep all my thoughts in my head and then try to do one paragraph at a time. It just means, of course, that I kind of sometimes start at the end of my review and then work backwards. But it all makes sense,
Sure.
Yeah. So that's what I just wanted to say about that. But the other thing is, did you see that thing I sent you on Twitter that I messaged you, Star Trek Borg? Someone remastered Star Trek Borg.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, because CBS won't do it. So I mean, I asked on YouTube comments, I did ask Mike Okuda about Star Trek Borg, where the negatives are, and he said that he actually asked CBS about the negatives, and he didn't hear back from them, and then I never heard back from Mike, so I don't know what's going on with the negatives for that. But someone appears to have just got a copy of the Japanese DVD, or I think it was DVD copy of something. I think it was, and they've basically just remastered it from there, so it doesn't have all the really like long lines across the screen or anything, which is great. But the only problem is, of course, it looks very video. It doesn't look like film. It looks very much like video, which you wouldn't get if you remastered it from the negatives. So
yeah, I can't stand upscaling. I hate it.
It doesn't look too bad for Star Trek Borg, but it could be better. Like I mean, it's a compromise. At the end of the day,
I mean, I saw
upscale. It's a compromise.
It was from 1987, and it was taken off a VHS tape it was a Cure appearance on a TV show, taken off a regular. Somebody recorded a VHS, and they used software and they upscaled that. I'm all for that. Take things like that people have in their collections off VHS and use AI to upscale them in 4K.
Yeah.
The problem is, to upscale Star Trek, you're never going to get the kind of detail
No.
It's never going to look as good as if, and it's really sad because they're trying to, the Park Road Post, what Peter Jackson did with the World War I movie and the Beatles footage. I thought that was, the footage itself is with mixed results, but the problem is they just don't want to spend the money.
Well, I mean, with CBS, it's like the video game is like, it's not that much money to spend. They just literally have to remaster a couple of things.
Well,
like
the thing is, they need to know where they're going to get their money back.
Yeah.
They have to understand, okay, if we spend money on this, how are we going to get a return?
Well, their game division is a mess. So at the moment, because they used to pump out Star Trek games like, every day they used to pump out Star Trek games in the 90s, and now they don't do that anymore. So.
No, because the thing that people don't understand is Star Trek is no longer a money making brand.
Mm.
It just isn't.
Thanks,
I wish it were.
Yeah,
I wish. I mean, it's as much as I like certain Star Trek things are. I mean, it's amazing. I don't know if you saw, people on my Facebook page saw that I posted a 3D Trekker on Etsy. He 3D prints an entire bridge from the original series in 6th scale. It's unbelievable. I posted on, and each section he charges $750. So I think it's 12 sections total. Worth it.
$750 for the total.
No, $750 for each wedge.
Oh wow!
And then it's 12. Yeah, but and then I have somebody that'll 3D print me the exterior of the ship.
Holy Moses!
So the exterior of the top of the Enterprise. So you print the bridge, and then you have the exterior, and you look down, and you can hide the electronics because it all lights up, and you have the sound effects and everything. Now, I've got a few things that 3D Trekker's done. Like I have the Q's throne from Encounter at Farpoint. He's doing Quark's bar, a 6th scale. It's $1,000. A 6th scale Quark's bar from Deep Space Nine. If we don't all kill each other in the next 50 years, we're gonna have so much cool stuff. I mean,
it's amazing to see what the fan community comes up with. That you can make it at a much small scale, and thankfully it stays off the radar of a lot of the companies because it's not worth.
Because the companies
after them,
they just don't care.
They're not going to do anything with it. So
they don't care. They don't. It's the same way that I am blown away that Jazz Inc. Jazz Inc. that made the 6th scale Batmobiles, and I have my 6th scale Millennium Falcon cockpit.
Yeah.
And which is badass. It lights up. You put the figures in there, and you can make camera angles. It looks just like the Millennium Falcon because it is. But they don't care. They don't care because no one is going to make. None of their licensees are going to make one.
Right.
And you've got people and with this payment plans and waiting 2 years to get it, you pay $50 a month or something, or $100 a month or whatever it is, depending on what you want to pay. I mean, I just, the stuff we have today, that's why we could be doing so much cool stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, even though it's sitting on its side, a private company did land a probe on the moon, an American company manufactured in America. Do you know we've crashed things, but we haven't landed on the moon since 1972.
Yeah.
It's been 52 years since America went back to the moon. What have we been doing? What have we been doing since then? Not a whole lot.
I know. Toy Master sent a $65 or 65 SEK. I can't remember if that's Swedish krona. Saying, you don't remember your birthday. Society feels unfamiliar. Welcome to the Mirrorverse. The evil version of you is in your old universe. Happy birthday.
Well, thank you. That people keep talking about. You know what? I'm now convinced more than ever. I went down the whole simulation theory rabbit hole.
Oh, geez.
Not only do I believe we're living in a simulation, we're like 10 levels down from base reality.
Yeah.
We're like 10 or 20 levels down from base
We're
reality.
the simulation made by the simulation that made the simulation that made the simulation, right?
Yeah. I'm convinced after watching Devs, the second to the last episode of Devs, that I was walking around. I don't think I had the zap put on my head as much as the second to the last episode of Devs since I saw the Hubble Deep Field picture in 1997.
Yeah.
Which when I was working on the Star Trek Experience, I put that Hubble Deep Field picture up, and I couldn't get. For a week, I was walking around with this existential crisis, like trying to comprehend how large the universe is, and seeing that picture and how many galaxies are. I'm like, wow.
Yeah. I rewatched Aniara last weekend, and it's another one of those experiences that makes you totally feel so completely and utterly insignificant.
Aniara, you know what? I wish more people had seen that movie.
It's out. It's on Max now. It's on HBO Max now. People should check.
Yeah, everybody should read Aniara or watch Aniara. The happiest, warmest film. It'll but you know what? The end is strangely beautiful.
There is a kind of peaceful.
There is an incredible that movie. I was watching that with Elizabeth, and it was one of those movies where I'm like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Like if you know anything about. I'm like, oh, this isn't going to end well.
I know. No. It's
but it to me, it's one of the only movies that deals with how just the cosmic infinitude and what we're actually dealing with. Because science fiction shows like Star Trek have made it so like, oh yeah, one day we're going to be traveling around the cosmos.
Right.
And I watched this video about simulation theory. And if you think about it, all the natural rules of the world, of the universe, if you look at it from a simulation theorist's perspective, they've all been designed to make sure that we can't get out of our section of the cosmos.
Yeah.
Which means, and like the thing that freaked me out the most was somebody was talking about if you go down to like DNA pairs, they're ones and zeros. It's binary. It's code. And I'm just like, oh no. Oh no.
Starting to feel it. There was that. Remember that Steve?
Man, I just want a 3D printed 6-scale bridge of the Enterprise. That's not a lot to ask. And if it's a simulation, can somebody just simulate it for me so I don't have to pay for it?
Yeah, wasn't there a Matthew McConaughey movie where he was like a captain in a sailboat, and it was all a video game that a kid was playing all along or something?
Yes. Yeah. Well, there's a lot of sci-fi that, I mean, Philip K. Dick was dealing with that kind of stuff when he started writing, but
Time Out of Joint predated the Truman Show by decades. I mean,
yeah.
So,
but simulation theory, the weirdest thing is that, that we could be so far down, like Elon Musk said like the odds are like 500,000 to 1 that we are in a simulation or something.
Right.
And I'm like, well, if Elon Musk is saying it,
we can be so far down that whoever designed us doesn't even realize we're around. I mean, it's just.
But then what happens if someone turns off the computer in base reality? I mean, and that's the thing. But you know what? Here's the real question. When you go down the simulation theory rabbit hole, what does it matter?
Exactly.
Let's say we do live in a simulated reality, and let's say we're never going to be able to escape our solar system because we're never going to have any kind of technology that allows us to go faster than the speed of light.
Yeah.
So we're stuck here. And there are glitches in the Matrix, and there are things that bleed over, and people can somehow cross over. I mean, if you can cross over into the next level of simulation, that would be cool.
I know.
Like Fringe.
Yeah.
I want to go into the next level of whatever reality is. And if you could figure out the power to skip through realities, but then you'd finally knock on the window of base reality. You'd get to base reality and be like, hey.
Yeah.
Unless you're Olivia Wilde and you're in Tron Legacy, then somebody drags you out, turns you in real.
Yeah.
But, oh well.
Well, maybe Alon can shed some light on your theories there. So
there is no spoon, Alon. There is no spoon.
Welcome,
Oh,
Alon.
great segues. It's always the same every week, every weekend. Anyway, no, but back to this reality. Happy birthday, Rob. I've come
Thank you.
bearing gifts.
Oh, I love that. Where Romulans bearing gifts? Do you have any Romulan ale?
Oh no, I made you some gifts.
Oh,
myself.
you did. Oh, well then, yeah. Did you
with the help of my friend AI, as you know,
your friend? I love that guy. He's very talented. AI. He's very talented.
They are. It's using they them.
Oh, AI is using they them. You know, I want to meet the non-binary AI program. I'm
Anyway,
non-binary.
can you set them up? Can you please share? You can choose the order.
Wait, I've got to hang on. Let me are you sending them to me?
No, Roberto already.
Oh,
have them.
do you want me to? Okay, well, hold on a second because I gotta figure out how to share them because with the software issues that I've been having, I haven't been able to share. Let me see if I can share it. Meantime,
no problem.
ask your questions and I'll try to get it set up.
What is the meaning of life and everything and like
42, man. It's 42.
No, I'm just kidding. What did
I'm
you
not.
do lately? What did you watch lately?
Okay, so what?
I think you watched Madam Web, did you?
Oh, dude,
did you enjoy?
I did. I you know,
I did. Too.
I mean, it's. I just, there was a lot of potential there, to be honest.
No, there wasn't. You liar.
I know there. I mean, in terms of, I don't mean what the movie was, but in terms of the storyline,
in terms of the character, maybe.
Yeah, if they went back and they adapted, I mean, they could have done something really interesting with it, especially because the original Madam Web is a mutant, you know, and they could have, but it was just, I'm just watching this and I'm thinking to myself, this was a film that needed a writer director, and I know that she contributed to the script, but it needed somebody who had a vision to make this film, and it was just.
I'll tell you what, I loved one of the producers. I don't remember who that was, but like in one of those interviews, they said like something like, "What we loved is that character did not have a lot of backstory, so that allowed
I
us
saw
to
that
do
it was on the red,
whatever we wanted."
It was on the red.
That's what he did. That's what you chose to do.
It was unbelievable. That guy, he was on the red carpet, I think, at the premiere, saying that, and I'm like, "What do you mean she has no backstory?" I mean,
even
it's
if
like
she didn't. That's what you chose to do.
Yeah, it's
yeah, it's an obscure character. Yes, not many people know the backstory. With that being said, that is the product you're making.
Well, that's the thing, and if that's what they made, it's just I just don't understand. You know, I don't get it, man. I mean, I do get it.
I went with my friend. We got a screener ticket, so we didn't pay anything. We had lots of fun. The entire theater was laughing. It was roaring with laughter. Not at the right times, not at the right moments. But it was like a great night. Never touching this shit again.
Well, I mean, at least you had a great night. Yeah, and if you had a great night, then there's always an upside.
Exactly. And ever since I'm currently in my BioShock phase again.
Oh, nice! That's a great game.
Yeah, every couple of years I get this feeling that I should get back to it. So now I've noticed that they released like a prequel book called Rapture about the city, the making of the city before the downfall. Which is great. I'm enjoying it so far. But every couple of years, this game is like the gift that keeps on giving. Such a great game. It is. Yeah, all three of them. I mean, the first one and the last one. Most, I think, BioShock Infinite. It's the one set in the sky instead of under the sea. it's incredibly beautiful.
Yeah. It's totally. It's awesome.
Roberto, how are you doing with the? Do you want to allow me to share my screen? I can try and do that.
Yeah, we can do that, Alan. I had a software upgrade. I was telling Rob earlier, and for some reason I cannot seem to get my screen share thing to work right now. So if I can go ahead and give you permission and you don't mind doing that, that would work. So let me go ahead and give you that permission. So there you go.
All right.
So you should be able to screen share now.
One moment. All right. I think you should be able to.
Here we go.
Now. There we go. Behold.
Oh my God. That is amazing.
So today's theme was like the member call posters. That's what Roberto puts up.
Yep.
I made a couple of them.
Last Air Bobby.
See? Oh, I'm not sure that I am able to.
I think you have.
That's hilarious.
You may have to stop sharing this one, and then there you go.
There we go.
The last member.
Oh, that's great. Look at that. That's awesome. Wow, this one's really good.
I needed to add in about a little bit of details with Photoshop, So
I love the giving the Vulcan salute.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I touched up the hand.
That's fantastic. The last member. Oh, I hope not.
It started as like till the last member or until the last member, but it was too many lines. I cut it up. And then there's this from the from the Dune premiere.
Yeah, you gotta love that. I kind of have like a little Zendaya, like the expression going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, not intentional. Then there's this.
This one's cool. This is cool.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Well, are you inferring that the other ones aren't cool?
No, but it's just
great.
They're all great. It just this is just because I even like how you did the logo.
Oh yeah,
the Dune logo.
Took me a couple of minutes, and then last but not least.
Wow, you know what? I got to give it up, sir. You are truly an AI. You wield AI well. You're the Jedi Knight of AI. Between you and Roberto. Well, turn these into a coffee table book.
I learned it from Alan. He taught. He was the one who shared the tools.
Not sure about the Jedi Knight. I might be more of a Sith kind of guy.
No, these are great. I should grow my hair like that. Dye it.
What's your favorite? My favorite is the Avatar one. This one.
Yeah, I like the only because of it's like a real poster.
It's got everything in.
Yeah. That's hilarious. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Well done, sir. Well done.
All right. Well, thank you for sharing those, Alan. Sorry, I was having technical difficulties doing it over here, but that was great.
No problem.
Thank you so much. Well,
most excellent.
Most excellent, indeed. All right, Brian Erdy is coming up next. So here's Brian. Welcome, Brian. You should.
It looks like Julian's skiing somewhere. I know he's probably out biking, but is he skiing? Brian, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great, man. How are you?
Hanging in there.
Rock and roll.
Hanging in there, slowly but surely. I don't know where I'm going slowly but surely. Maybe life in general, but wherever it's going, I'm sure it's going to be fun. I'm having a good time.
Awesome. So 2 days ago, I got a piece of physical media in the mail.
Ooh, I love that. Isn't that the greatest thing? It's like Christmas every day.
It is. And I'll show it to you, but I kind of super special to me.
By the way, I got to give you a shout out for the Cerebus poster or the Cerebus t-shirt. Well done.
He doesn't
love you. You know what's funny? That comic, like in the 80s and 90s, that comic was held up as one of the greatest comics ever. And indeed, it is. Nobody talks about it anymore.
Yeah. Well, it was and is great, but towards the end, it kind of went off the rails a little bit.
Yeah, it did. It did. But that was a long running comic.
Yeah. But in the 80s, 90s, man, when it hit its stride, Cerebus was awesome.
Awesome. Yeah.
So a year ago, my daughter moves out and I get a bedroom, an office.
You don't even look old enough to have a daughter that can move out.
She's 25.
Oh my God. Well done, sir.
Well, thank you.
What, do you have a portrait aging in the attic or something for you? So she moves out, but you get a bedroom.
So I get a bedroom, and for decades, I've dreamed about having building the ultimate editing suite, but not just to edit video, but also be like a pop culture stuff from my childhood shrine. Okay.
I have no idea what you mean.
Just kidding. So there's as I was building my office, there was one thing that I wanted to be able to display. And to explain what it was, we have to go back to 1982. And I'm at the grocery store with my mom, and she goes off to get groceries, and I'm walking over to go look at comic books. And I walk by this newly constructed display, and it looks like boxes with movie posters on. And I look closer, and there's a sign that says, "Take home your favorite movies, rent VHS or beta." And I was like, ooh. And the only time I'd ever seen like video cassettes for sale was like in the back of Starlog.
Right.
So I gravitate. The first thing that I see is Star Wars. And I pick it up, and it's in a box that does not look like the typical boxes that VHS tapes would eventually kind of adopt.
Yeah.
It's a bigger box, and I pick it up.
That's a 41 or 40-year-old videotape you just picked up.
Yeah. Oh, I got one that's even older. The box was bigger, and it actually, you opened it from the side. The tape didn't come down from the bottom. It was like in a drawer.
Yep.
And I found out that it was the first ever VHS release of Star Wars. And I wanted that. I've thought about that for decades. And so I got on eBay, and I discovered two things. One, you either find them in super crappy condition, or they're very, very, very expensive.
Yep.
So I waited and waited, and I finally found one kind of met in the middle. And yesterday I got this.
Wow. It's been a long time since I've seen one of those. That's in great shape. Look at that.
I mean, look at the shine on it.
Yep. Yeah, I haven't seen that in a long time. Wow.
So I was very excited.
I think that was one of the first because the rental tapes of Star Wars came in a hard plastic box, I think. And then those were the first ones people could buy. Because at first, when Star Wars came out on VHS, it wasn't for sale. It was rental only for video stores. And the video store, it was so funny that we had a video store in my hometown, and it was $100. And $100 when it first came out. I think it was 81 when the first tape, 81, 80, because at first it was rental only, and then you could buy it. But this guy at Island Video, where I lived, he there was like 8 of us that all pooled. We had to give him money in advance. And $100 for kids to buy a tape, people thought that was insane. Like, you're out of your mind. And
those times, yeah.
So that's really cool. It's great to have it in that kind of condition.
Yeah, I was just beside myself. I thought it was.
Do you have a working VHS player?
I do. I have a working VHS, a working Super VHS, and I even have a high 8mm deck, not a camera, but an actual deck. And
nice.
I've been converting all my old tapes over the last couple of years to digital, which is a big project.
Yeah, Super VHS I just saw this. Super VHS was great. I mean, as far as that went,
right.
I did see this thing. I posted this on Twitter. I read this article. what people are doing with VHS and the software people are using and converting to 4K by going to 50 frames and all this. It's really interesting, but it looked great. So people are doing some really, I mean, it looked great. It doesn't look like 4K, but you know, it's pretty interesting because I've got a few things on VHS that I would like to convert. And I don't have many VHS tapes, but certain things.
Yeah, it's I
Can I ask you what you paid for that Star Wars tape?
It was $125.
Oh, that's not bad. It's in great shape.
With the condition that it's in, I was thrilled because I've seen them listed as high as like 400.
Yeah. No, that's in really great shape.
Now, I'm almost out of time, but very briefly, the other thing that showed up the same day was my Shout Factory, the Fog.
Did you get the Steelbook?
I got the Steelbook and my Adrian Barbeau action figure.
Nice. I gotta get that. Stevie Wayne.
Stevie Wayne comes with the cross.
Can you still get that? I didn't know that they had that. I gotta get that.
Yeah, it's still. In fact, I was just on Shout Factory looking at their Escape from New York collector's set, and you can still get the Fog with the Adrian Barbeau action figure.
Is that I can't tell, but in the background behind you, is that a Snake Plissken action figure?
That is. Got Snake Plissken, Chop Top.
Is that NECA?
Yeah.
Is that yeah?
Yeah, it's sort of the how they kind of ape Mego figures sometimes, like really deluxe versions of Mego.
Yeah.
Figures.
Yeah, I've got my sideshows right there. My Snake Plissken's right there.
That's killer.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't get the Jack Burton because I was an idiot. Did you order they made the 6-scale McCready? Mondo did. It hasn't come out yet, but it's really nice.
Yeah, that needs to be a part of my collection.
Yeah, no, but the I love the artwork that Shout Factory did for the Carpenter movies. I thought like the Fog is really cool. That artwork is really cool. So's They Live.
Thanks, Brian.
Listeners, good to see you.
Good to see you. Let's go ahead and bring in Julian now. Maybe
the Fog has aged very well. If you guys haven't watched the Fog in a long time, it's really good.
Was the Fog
I've always loved the Fog.
Was it ever remade?
Oh yeah, and it sucked.
Oh yeah, okay. For some reason,
yeah, it was like Carpenter doesn't care. You know, Carpenter wants to play video games and watch basketball
and play music.
Look, play music, and I get it. Why? Like he has nothing more to prove to anybody.
Well, and he got screwed by the studio system from the get-go. So
many times.
You know, so the fact that he can now just cash in and do the fun stuff that he wants to do, all the better.
Yeah. And he's still got an amazing legacy of movies all the way back to 1975. So you go, John Carpenter. I love you.
All right. Julian is coming in next, and let's find out if he is skiing. Are you skiing, Julian?
No, he's biking.
No, I'm biking.
Oh, biking.
What were you seeing, Rob? What were you seeing?
I don't know. I mean, I couldn't tell. It looked because the background was white. The camera was all over the place. I didn't know.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
you might have gone up to Big Bear.
And you're into my back pocket there. My truck jersey.
Look at that. Whoa, that looks great. Let me see that. Go out a little bit more. Wow. That's pretty dope, dude. Where'd you get that?
It's my pride and joy.
I love how it's like
online.
It's got the next generation vibe, but it's a TOS shirt. I love it.
Oh yeah, it's a definite TOS. If they had a yellow one and a blue one, a golden blue one also, I can't find these anymore.
Yeah.
You can only find like a gold one in lady size, like on Amazon. There's plenty of other styles out there, but this style they don't make anymore. It was like one of those things. I think it was when I think I might have gotten it through Star Trek, either StarTrek.com or Geek Store, whatever that one was that went out of business. They sold out to the
Anovos?
To the game. No, not Anovos. No, it was a gaming shop, a GameStop or something like that. Anyway, so hey, Masters of the Air. You updated on that?
I haven't watched the new episode.
So you're at episode 5?
I've seen episode 4. right?
No, I think
No, because because you had no, I think this is 5. This week's 5.
anyway.
Last
They're
week,
only doing eight episodes, right? They're
yeah,
only doing yeah.
I can't believe they killed Austin Butler.
You can't believe it, huh? You can't believe it. Maybe you shouldn't believe it, maybe. Or maybe you should. Who knows?
Okay, good. Because
with all the stuff that came out before the damn series even came out, I think there was plenty of chances to find out if they actually survive.
Yeah, I didn't look into it, but that was a good episode. I liked it. I understand how it isn't, the human stories are not as in depth as, say, Band of Brothers, but I still really like it. I mean,
yeah, I'm kind of upset with the way, the pre-hype for this series was, it's this, continuation of this, Band of Brothers stories. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's not even close. And the fact that they, Band of Brothers was a thing all by itself where you follow that whole, company.
Right.
And particular platoons. But, you get into Pacific and you only get a couple of specific characters that you're following, and that, I think, a lot of people had trouble with that, and I think because of the nature of the air war, where they lost so many people, there was no way that they could really, fact that they've been able to create a story through this particular bomb group with particular characters that has a through line is kind of remarkable.
It is, and I do love the
but they kind of they set themselves up for a little bit of a failure by allowing people to kind of use that Band of Brothers type of thing when it was going to be more like the Pacific. So
I love it though.
I do love it because I love that World War II stuff. I mean,
me too.
I remember one of the first big, the CGI. And the mock-up of the B-17 and the interiors and all that kind of stuff is just beautiful. It's just beautiful.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's great stuff. And I love the flying. I mean, I love seeing I love B-17 bombers. I didn't realize just how chewed up they would get on those missions. It's amazing half those planes even made it. I mean, and then how they repaired them. And I mean, I'm so glad I didn't do that in life. I mean, oh my God.
The guts after like Rosenthal is one of the characters that's going to be accentuated in the next half of the series, and or maybe just the bombardier or the navigator made 25 missions and then they were gone, heading home. But a lot of those guys chose to just continue serving.
Yeah, I mean, I just can't even imagine. You know, that it really does convey the horror, the terror of what it must have been like to fly in those, you know.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Next couple episodes are going to be pretty tough.
Yeah, but I really love the show. I now I don't have it anymore, but I built B-17 bomber models when I was a kid. Now I really want to go get another a big one and put it, not like even 1/32 scale, get a huge one. Because I love B-17 because they had all the, when you're a kid, they have the most guns. They've got the side gunners, they got the bubble, on the bottom, and they got the top gunners and the front gunners, the rear gunners. I mean, those planes were just bristling with weapons and all the bombs. So, well, it's good to see you, man.
Yeah, good to see you, Justin. Apologies to the YouTube folks. StreamYard had a bit of a glitch there, so it kind of conked out for a few seconds there. But I think we're back up and running now, if I'm not mistaken. So people can let us know in the chat if the stream is still giving trouble. We have Red French Moon saying, Rob, you are just great and happy birthday. Sharing €2 there. So thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks for the kind words and the birthday wishes.
Yeah, and then let's bring in Kevin now. Welcome, Kevin. You should be able to join us.
Hey guys.
What's going on, man?
I'm
good to see you.
Does Elizabeth need to be careful with you when you're alone with that new dog paw thing? I don't know. You were getting pretty happy with that thing, man.
It was so funny. She brings that. I'm like, what is? I was like, I had no idea. She goes, look at this. And I'm like, what is that? I'm like, wait a minute. I don't know. Here, and I got my camera and put it out. I'm just like,
she was so teasing you too, because she kept turning it on. She kept doing it. And I'm like, oh my God, you better not run out the battery, because it'd be interesting to see what's going on.
Our poodle, Sebastian, has a tendency to sometimes pee on his paws. So Elizabeth was like, he has pissy paws again, and I'm like, okay. So she was looking for a device to wash his paws. And because Sebastian is the snuggliest dog, he loves to come up and he loves to touch your face, and he loves to put his paws on your chest, and she hates it.
Oh, that's funny.
She hates it. Hates it. Oh, look at that. I love B-25s.
Yeah. So this is one that I'm going to work on here soon.
The B-25s, I mean, when I was a kid, the B-17s are my favorite, but B-25s are cooler.
I got that one because Mitchell's my son's name. So he actually bought it for me.
I mean, it looks cooler than it, but to me, the B-17s, were kind of in a way, they're kind of the old time planes, because the Stratofortress, the B-29 that dropped the A-bombs, has the cool Millennium Falcon cockpit front, and
you can't see back there. I have all the fighter planes back there.
Oh, you do?
This is my first bomber. Yeah, I have.
Now, are these model kits, or are they die cast?
No, they're all model kits.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I put them, and then most of them have stands. The last one I'm gonna build like a diorama of it or something, play with it around.
Yeah, I gotta get a B-17, and now because I hung my, you can see it. You can't see it, but right above my head here is my Playmobil Enterprise. And from
I don't have that.
from this angle, and I took a picture from this angle, and it looks like there's an episode of Star Trek called Tomorrow is Yesterday, where they go back to the 20th century, and there's an F-105 starfighter, the jet that goes up to attack the Enterprise or see what it is. I need to get an F-105, and I want to hang it right here, so when I look up, or maybe I've actually got an Estes model rocket that kind of looks like an F-105, and I want to hang it right in the position that the F-105 is at in the episode. So when I look up, I have a recreation of that episode.
Does that have lights? The Playmobil?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I have like cars, so I have a port and it has headlights and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, I've got this guy Martino Simoni, who is Martino. He has hooked me up with Playmobil. So he got me the Enterprise, the Bird of Prey, the Magnum PI Ferrari, the A-Team van, the Aston Martin DB5 and Knight Rider.
I have a bunch from when I was a kid. My aunts and uncles would send me stuff from Germany, so I have a bunch of race cars.
When I was a kid,
they're all German. They're German companies, so it's easy for them to get them.
Yeah, see, we didn't have those when I was growing up. My friend Mike, who I do crisis medicine with, he bought a Playmobil pirate ship, and it's awesome.
I have it, but it's all jacked up.
Oh, he's in great shape.
I have a race set. I have probably not the greatest thing, but cowboy and Native American thing with the American soldiers. Which is weird that you would get that in Germany, but they have the weirdest things. Some of the ones that they have, the sets. It's interesting.
Well, even now the license, the Playmobil license, I'm always fascinated by. Why did they decide to make a Magnum PI Ferrari?
Weird. It's cool though.
Yeah. I mean, I'm like, I love it. And I
mean, you see the Tom Selleck, and he's got the mustache, and he's got it going. The Hawaiian shirt and everything is perfect. I'm like, oh my god,
it is. I mean, it makes. I wish I had kids of my own, and I would buy them all these like things.
You don't need kids of your own to enjoy that.
Oh, I know, but it would. Look, kids don't even get to come in here. When I was married, we had we lived in this great guest house, and the house in front was split into upper and lower apartments. And this family moved in on the bottom floor, and the kids, I always played with the kids, and Yelena would say, "You can never bring them in this house because our all the action figures and the toys and they can never come in here." And I'm like, oh, come on, their parents are awful. And that's why I would play with them and throw frisbees or something in the courtyard area between the house and our guest house. And she's like, they'll never leave. They'll come over here and they want to play video games with you, and you'll do it. You'll sit there and play video games with them all day long. And I'm like, and what's the problem with that?
Yeah.
And then she's like, and you probably take them to Toys R Us. And I'm like, I don't see the problem. That's why we're not married anymore.
Oh well. I didn't really have anything like any plan. I didn't really want to like complain or bitch or anything today.
That's good.
I find it interesting, real quick, that how you said a lot of studios are being run by Ivy League people and whatnot, and they're probably got their hands and their bean counters in it. But I was thinking they're not even very good at that. So it's when they're making some of these movies, and I see that because I work for a big corporation. And one of the things I've kind of noticed is I think some of it, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, but I think some of it has to do with you have a lot of people that maybe have grown up in the industry. And in our case, the gentleman who started the company stepped back, so they don't have a lot of skin in the game anymore. And I think that's what's happening maybe with some of the movies is the folks really don't have skin in the game. So it's just like throw money at it and whatever. It just seems like that's where the downfall is, and they're not really taking care of things.
And I honestly think, like, if you have to think that a lot of people that are in the business are younger, you're looking at say 30, let's say you're 40 years old. If you're 40 years old, you have an Ivy League education, you graduated, you have an MBA, you graduate with 23, 24. And now you've worked for various companies, and you worked in marketing, you're an executive and you're making a ton of money, and you get hired by a movie studio. And, people like movies, but if you don't love movies and you have I don't think in our culture today, people love movies, but they don't love cinema. And in order to make great movies, you also have to know and love cinema as an art form. And I think now, it's great but if you're only 40 years old, that means you know, you were born the year Pretty in Pink came out. And so you probably weren't even watching movies or even aware of movies that you watched other than Disney films or something until, let's say, you were 10. For you grew up and started to really watch movies after Jurassic Park came out. So your experience of what movies are, I think, is limited because the scope of films, and I think that people have a very limited view of what movies can be. Although I'm seeing there's a lot of really interesting off the wall films. I mean, I look at what A24 is doing. You know, there's a whole new crop of films that are coming out that are challenging that I think people are going to see that are opening people's eyes a bit. But just in time for AI to destroy the industry completely. Oh, well. I mean, for me, that's kind of how I'm at right. Like, what am I going to do? I have two movies. I have one movie in particular I really I want to make my whole life. And I have the script. It's ready to go. No one would ever let me direct it, but no one else is going to direct it but me. And it's expensive. But with all the new technology that's coming out, I might be able to get away with making it a lot cheaper. It's just a question of would somebody allow me to do it? So I'll still hold out. I want to make 2 or 3 more movies before I die. I'm not giving up. We'll see.
We'll see. And with that, Rob, we have arrived at the 2-hour mark. So we're going to go ahead and say goodbye to our friends in YouTube. But the chat will continue for the members. And remember, if you ever want to join us in one of these upcoming chats, become a member of the channel for as little as $1 a month, and you will get the link in your messages in YouTube. So, Rob, any final parting words here before we say goodbye to our YouTube friends?
No, just once again, thanks everybody for supporting the channel, and I'm going to be doing more and more stuff. You know, I've been releasing from my old X-Men special features. I've been making a few clips, shorts, YouTube that are on the channel. I want to do more of that. I want to delve more into finding my old work and putting it up so you can see it, because it's all just disappearing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's frustrating. It's really frustrating to know. I think as I get older, I have to come to grips with the fact that all this work that I spent hours and hours and hours, weeks, months toiling over is gone.
Yeah.
You know, it's thank God they released our Star Trek documentaries again in that big Picard box set that you can get them. But without physical media, if people aren't buying discs anymore, 20 years of my life and work that I did traveling all over the world, interviewing people, being on movie sets will disappear.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if studios are going to give you copyright strikes for putting it up, I understand that, but it's just a shame that it's not available.
Mm-hmm.
And it's frustrating. So I'm just going to take it upon myself and put it up.
Yeah, I've been having a fun time watching all those clips of the interviews with Hugh Jackman, and I saw the Ian McKellen was posted. So yeah, that looks great.
I did it, Anna Paquin.
Mm-hmm.
And when I look at that, it's hard to believe that we did that those interviews I did on the set of X2.
Right.
So when we were hired, we did X-Men 1.5 and X2, and I did those interviews. Like, I sat down and interviewed all those actors on the, we were not on the set. They weren't shooting, but I was on the set of X2. And it's funny when I think about that now with Deadpool and Wolverine coming out in 2024, this was back in 2002, 2003. And I'm like, wow. And I look at Anna Paquin and Ian McKellen, and I look at Hugh Jackman. I mean, it's 22 years later. That's like half a lifetime.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
I know. And the trajectory of his career, since those days, it's crazy.
Yeah. And he talks about, because he didn't know in that one clip I put up, he's like, I just came out of Australian films. You make your own sandwiches.
Yeah.
it's like,
yeah. No, that's pretty cool. All right, folks. Well, let me just double check, make sure we don't have any more super chats or anything. No, so we will go ahead and part our ways with YouTube at this point. Those of you in the Zoom chat, the chat continues. So we will see you later. And Rob, I guess there'll be a physical media episode tomorrow, or is tomorrow?
Yeah, and I'm going to do. I have a backlog of letters that Mike sent me. I got so I'm going to do a. I'm doing a show today. I'll do a show today later. Probably tonight, where I do a bunch of letters, and then tomorrow we're doing Let's Get Physical Media. Then I'm on George the Giant Slayer show. Then I'm getting my car and I'm driving to see Chris Score and a bunch of other YouTubers. I'm going to.
You're going to go see Dune, right?
Oh yeah,
awesome. All right,
going to Arrakis.
Can't wait to.
I'm going to the Arakeen Desert, and I'm gonna snort a lot of spice. See what happens.
You're gonna challenge Muad'Dib on the arena.
Yeah,
so,
my crystal knife with my Chris knife.
All right, but we'll see you guys later. And then again, the folks in the chat will continue here. Take care, everybody.